What if the solar system you were taught as a child was only a tiny fragment of the truth? What if the neat flat diagram from school books was hiding something enormous above you? Something equally enormous below you? A hidden structure stretching so far into darkness that even the nearest stars begin to feel close. Tonight, we travel beyond the comforting map of planets and into the true shape of our cosmic home. And strangely enough, this mystery connects deeply to another question explored here on Velarin: the silent possibility that dark regions of the universe may contain structures far larger than galaxies themselves. Space becomes much stranger when you stop looking only outward and begin looking in every direction at once. Welcome to Velarin's Sleepy Space Mysteries. Tonight, we will drift slowly beyond the planets, beyond Neptune, beyond the frozen edge of the Kuiper Belt, and far into the immense sphere of forgotten objects that surrounds our sun like a ghostly shell in the dark. But before we begin our journey, take a quiet moment to subscribe, like the video, turn on notifications, and join the membership if these peaceful cosmic explorations help you relax at night. And tell me something softly in the comments. Where in the world are you listening from tonight? Because the truth is this: the solar system is not flat. It is not a tidy line of planets. It is a vast layered structure reaching above and below us for distances so unimaginable that human language almost fails to describe them. And once you truly see it, the night sky never looks the same again. The deeper astronomers looked into the outer solar system, the stranger it became. For centuries, humanity believed the planets marked the true boundaries of our cosmic neighborhood. Beyond Neptune, people once imagined there was mostly emptiness, a silent, frozen darkness with very little structure remaining. But the universe rarely allows simplicity to survive for long. And slowly, object by object, the illusion of a flat, orderly solar system began to collapse. Pluto was the first warning. When astronomers discovered it in 1930, it seemed at first like a lonely ninth planet drifting quietly at the edge of the sun's domain. Yet Pluto never behaved like the other planets. Its orbit was stretched, its motion was tilted, and most importantly, Pluto refused to stay within the flat plane that the planets followed so obediently. During its long journey around the sun, Pluto rises far above the ecliptic plane and later dives far below it again. It spends centuries moving through regions of space the classic textbook diagrams never even attempted to show. For decades, this oddity remained mostly hidden from the public because diagrams flattened Pluto back into the same neat row as the other planets. The solar system was still presented as a clean arrangement of circles on a page. But reality was already becoming much more three-dimensional than most people realized. Then came the discoveries beyond Pluto. Tiny icy worlds began appearing one after another in the darkness past Neptune. At first they seemed rare. Then astronomers realized they were everywhere. Thousands of frozen objects surrounded the outer solar system in a vast distant region now called the Kuiper Belt. And unlike the planets, many of these bodies traveled on orbits that wandered dramatically above and below the ecliptic plane. Some remained relatively close to the flat disk. Others tilted steeply into space like giant invisible loops surrounding the sun from unexpected angles. Certain objects reached inclinations of 20 degrees. Others exceeded 30. A few climbed even higher. The further outward astronomers looked, the less the solar system resembled a flat plate and the more it resembled a thick swelling cloud. This was an astonishing realization because it hinted at something profound about gravity itself. Near the Sun, order dominates. The planets move in calm, organized paths because the original spinning disk of gas that formed them imposed structure on the inner solar system. But farther away, the Sun's authority weakens. The giant planets begin scattering smaller bodies through gravitational encounters. Neptune especially acts like a cosmic shepherd with unpredictable moods. Some icy worlds are nudged gently outward. Others are thrown onto elongated orbits. Some are tilted upward into steep inclinations that carry them far above the planetary plane. Imagine standing far above the solar system looking downward. The planets would appear like thin, glowing rings around the Sun. But beyond Neptune, the picture changes. The Kuiper Belt would not resemble a neat extension of those rings. Instead, it would look thicker and fuzzier, more chaotic. Countless icy bodies would weave through space in overlapping tilted paths. Some would spend centuries above the ecliptic before descending again into the lower regions near the planets. And hidden among them are worlds stranger still. Eris was one of the most important discoveries. Larger in mass than Pluto and traveling on an orbit tilted more than 40 degrees relative to the ecliptic, Eris revealed just how extreme the outer solar system could become. This dwarf planet does not politely remain near the planetary disk. It travels through vast, lonely regions far above and below the plane where Earth and the other major planets orbit. If the inner solar system resembles a thin dinner plate, Eris moves like a wandering insect circling wildly around it from impossible angles. Then came Sedna. Sedna changed the conversation completely. Unlike Pluto or Eris, Sedna travels so far from the Sun that even Neptune barely influences it anymore. At its most distant point, Sedna drifts hundreds of astronomical units into darkness. One orbit takes more than 11,000 years. Civilizations rise and vanish during a single Sedna year. Yet even more unsettling is the shape of its orbit. Sedna appears disconnected from the organized architecture of the known planets. It moves through a region so remote and so detached that astronomers still debate what pulled it there in the first place. Some suspect a passing star disturbed Sedna long ago during the Sun's youth inside a crowded stellar nursery. Others wonder if an undiscovered planet still lurks in the outer darkness, shaping distant orbits with invisible gravity. A hypothetical world often called Planet 9. A giant hidden planet perhaps several times the mass of Earth. A world moving silently far above and below the ecliptic where ordinary surveys rarely search. Whether Planet 9 exists or not, the discoveries already made are enough to transform our understanding forever. The solar system is not a flat arrangement of planets surrounded by empty space. It is a layered structure growing thicker and stranger with distance. Near the Sun lies order. Beyond Neptune lies chaos. And beyond even that waits something far more immense than any belt or scattered disk. Because eventually the solar system stops being a disk at all. It becomes a sphere. The idea of a spherical solar system sounds almost impossible at first because every image most people have ever seen teaches the exact opposite. We imagine the Sun at the center with planets orbiting around it like grooves on a vinyl record. Even modern animations often preserve this illusion because flat diagrams are easier for human brains to understand. But the true structure of the solar system becomes stranger and more unsettling the farther outward you travel. Beyond the scattered worlds of the Kuiper Belt lies a region so distant that sunlight itself begins to lose its familiar meaning. Out there, the sun no longer dominates the sky the way it does from Earth. It shrinks into a brilliant star among countless others. Shadows soften. Warmth disappears almost entirely. And somewhere in that enormous darkness begins one of the most mysterious structures in all astronomy. The Oort Cloud. No telescope has ever directly photographed it. No spacecraft has reached it. In fact, humanity has never even seen a confirmed object inside it with certainty. Yet astronomers are almost completely convinced it exists because without it, one of the oldest mysteries of the night sky becomes impossible to explain. Long-period comets arrive from every direction imaginable. They do not simply emerge from the flat disk of planets. Some plunge downward toward the sun from high above the solar system. Others rise upward from deep below the ecliptic plane. Their paths are wildly tilted. Some even orbit backward compared to the planets. These comets behave as though they originate from a gigantic spherical reservoir surrounding the solar system entirely. And so the Oort Cloud was born first as an idea, a hidden shell of icy objects extending outward in all directions around the sun. The scale of this structure is almost impossible to comprehend calmly. Neptune orbits roughly 30 astronomical units from the Sun. The Kuiper Belt stretches perhaps to 50. Sedna reaches hundreds. But the Oort Cloud may extend as far as 100,000 astronomical units from the Sun, nearly 2 light-years into interstellar darkness. That means the true gravitational boundary of the solar system reaches almost halfway to the nearest star. Suddenly, the neat planetary diagrams from childhood feel tiny and incomplete. The planets are not the solar system. They are merely the bright inner core of something vastly larger and stranger. The real solar system is a colossal sphere of frozen debris surrounding us in every direction like an invisible cosmic fog. And this changes the meaning of above and below completely. Inside the planetary region, above means north of the ecliptic plane. Below means south of it. But in the Oort Cloud, those distinctions almost disappear. The cloud surrounds the sun with roughly equal depth in every direction. If you traveled straight upward from Earth perpendicular to the planetary orbits, you would not leave the solar system quickly. You would continue through empty darkness for trillions of kilometers while still remaining inside the sun's gravitational domain. Above the planets is more solar system. Below the planets is more solar system. To truly understand this, imagine shrinking the orbit of Neptune until it fits inside a small coin resting on a table. In that scale, the outer edge of the Oort Cloud would lie kilometers away. A sphere so enormous that the original planetary system becomes nearly invisible at its center. Earth itself would vanish completely from view. And yet the Oort Cloud is astonishingly empty. This is one of the strangest paradoxes in astronomy. The solar system may contain trillions of icy bodies in the Oort Cloud, but the distances between them are so vast that if you stood inside it, you would likely see nothing around you at all. No nearby objects, no glowing belt, no visible structure, only darkness and stars. The sun itself would no longer look like a sun. At those distances, it would appear merely as an unusually bright star among many others. A traveler drifting through the outer Oort cloud might not even realize they were still inside the solar system unless they measured the motions of distant icy bodies carefully. This is where the comforting idea of cosmic neighborhoods begins to dissolve. The solar system no longer feels like a tidy local region surrounding the sun. It becomes part of a gradual transition into interstellar space itself. And perhaps most haunting of all is how these frozen objects arrived there. Astronomers believe the giant planets were responsible. During the violent youth of the solar system, Jupiter and Saturn scattered enormous numbers of icy bodies outward through gravitational encounters. Some objects were flung away entirely and escaped the sun forever. Others were slowed slightly by passing stars and the gravity of the Milky Way itself. These survivors remained barely attached to the sun on gigantic distant orbits, forming the Oort Cloud over billions of years. In a sense, the Oort Cloud is a graveyard of ancient worlds. Fragments exiled from the inner solar system during a time of chaos long before Earth developed oceans or life. And even now, the story is not finished. Passing stars continue to disturb the cloud. The gravity of the galaxy itself slowly stirs it. Occasionally, one frozen object is nudged inward. For millions of years, it falls silently toward the sun through the darkness. Eventually, sunlight warms its icy surface. A glowing tail appears. And from Earth, humans look upward and call it a comet, without realizing they are witnessing a visitor from the spherical frontier surrounding the entire solar system. There is something deeply unsettling about realizing the solar system fades gradually instead of ending cleanly. Human beings prefer borders. We like coastlines and walls and clear edges between one place and another. But space rarely obeys that instinct. The farther astronomers looked into the darkness beyond Neptune, the more they discovered that the solar system does not stop suddenly. It dissolves slowly into the galaxy itself. Even the Oort cloud may not have a perfect boundary. Its outermost objects are held only weakly by the sun's gravity. A passing star can steal them away. The tidal pull of the Milky Way can alter their orbits over immense periods of time. Some frozen bodies drift so loosely around the sun that they exist in a strange middle state between belonging and not belonging. And that leads to a haunting thought. Some objects now floating through interstellar space may once have belonged to our solar system. Ancient icy worlds thrown outward long ago by Jupiter's immense gravity. Tiny dark exiles wandering forever between the stars. At the same time, some distant objects currently orbiting our sun may not have formed here at all. They may have originated around other stars billions of years ago before being captured during close stellar encounters in the sun's birth cluster. In other words, the outer solar system may contain immigrants from alien suns. This possibility transforms the Oort cloud into something more than a distant shell of debris. It becomes a borderland between star systems, a region where ownership itself loses meaning. The sun's gravitational influence grows weaker and weaker until eventually the galaxy begins to matter more. And the galaxy is never still. The sun is moving through the Milky Way at roughly 230 kilometers per second. Everything in the solar system travels with it. Earth, Jupiter, the Kuiper Belt, the Oort Cloud, all of it is drifting together around the center of the galaxy in a slow orbit lasting more than 200 million years. But that movement is not perfectly flat. The solar system actually bobs gently upward and downward through the galactic plane over immense spans of time, like a cork floating on dark cosmic water. Roughly every 60 to 70 million years, the Sun passes through the dense middle region of the Milky Way and then rises again above it. This introduces an entirely new meaning to above and below. Until now, we have used the ecliptic plane of the planets as our reference. But the galaxy has its own plane, the vast rotating disk of stars that forms the Milky Way itself. And remarkably, the solar system is tilted dramatically relative to it. Imagine placing a dinner plate sideways inside a giant spinning vinyl record. That is roughly what the solar system is doing inside the galaxy. The planets orbit in one plane while the Milky Way stretches across another. So if you travel upward from the solar system according to the planetary plane, you are not traveling upward relative to the galaxy. These directions point toward completely different regions of space. This realization quietly destroys the idea that up and down are absolute directions at all. On Earth, gravity makes those words feel permanent. Down points toward the ground, up points toward the sky. But in space, there is no universal up. Every direction depends entirely on what reference frame you choose. An astronaut floating between galaxies could rotate slowly and feel equally correct in every orientation. There would be no cosmic ceiling overhead, no true floor beneath them. The words above and below exist only because humans need them. And yet, psychologically, we cannot stop imagining verticality. We still ask what is above the solar system because our minds crave orientation inside the unknown. We want to know what hangs over us in the cosmic dark. The answer is strange. Above the solar system lies more galaxy, more stars, more invisible clouds of gas, more dark matter stretching through the Milky Way halo. If you continued far enough, you would eventually leave the galactic disk itself and enter the sparse outer halo surrounding the Milky Way, a region populated by ancient globular clusters and lonely stars orbiting far from the crowded galactic center. And beyond even that lies intergalactic space, a darkness so immense and empty that entire galaxies become isolated islands separated by millions of light years. The scale becomes almost emotionally difficult to process calmly. Earth orbits the Sun. The Sun drifts through the Milky Way. The Milky Way moves through the local group of galaxies. The local group itself falls slowly toward larger cosmic structures. Everything is moving. Everything belongs to something larger. And through all of it, the solar system remains astonishingly fragile. The planetary region humans know best is only a tiny glowing center hidden deep inside a vast invisible sphere of frozen objects. That sphere itself drifts through the galaxy surrounded by incomprehensible distances in every direction. There is also another quiet mystery hidden here. The Oort Cloud may preserve a record of the Sun's earliest history. Some astronomers believe the exact shape of the cloud contains clues about the environment where our star was born billions of years ago. The Sun likely formed inside a crowded stellar nursery containing many nearby young stars. Their gravity may have sculpted the earliest structure of the Oort Cloud before the cluster slowly dispersed. If this is true, then some distant icy bodies above and below the solar system may carry ancient memories of stars that vanished from our neighborhood billions of years ago. Ghosts of the Sun's lost siblings. frozen fragments drifting silently in darkness older than Earth itself. And somewhere out there tonight, far beyond Pluto and Sedna and the known frontier of the solar system, countless unseen objects continue their endless slow motion around the sun, invisible, silent, almost untouched since the birth of the planets, waiting in the deep cold above and below us. Perhaps the strangest part of this entire journey is realizing how invisible the true solar system really is. When you step outside at night and look upward, almost everything you can see belongs to only the tiniest inner layer of our cosmic home. The bright planets, the familiar stars, the faint band of the Milky Way. These are merely surface details compared to the immense hidden architecture surrounding us in silence. The vast majority of the solar system cannot be seen with human eyes at all. Even Neptune is invisible without optical aid. Pluto appears only as a tiny point of light in powerful telescopes. Most Kuiper Belt objects are completely hidden in darkness, and the Oort Cloud remains entirely theoretical in direct observation. We know it exists only because of the comets that occasionally fall inward from unimaginable distances. That means humanity has spent nearly all of history unaware of the true scale of the system we inhabit. Ancient civilizations imagined stars attached to celestial spheres surrounding Earth. Later generations discovered planets orbiting the sun. Then came the realization that the solar system itself drifts inside the Milky Way. And finally, modern astronomy uncovered something even more unsettling. The sun carries around an enormous invisible shell extending nearly halfway to the nearest star. A shell we still cannot directly observe. There is a certain loneliness hidden inside that idea. The solar system suddenly feels much larger but also far emptier. Most of its volume contains almost nothing. Trillions upon trillions of kilometers pass in complete darkness. If Earth vanished tomorrow, the overwhelming majority of the solar system would continue unchanged for billions of years without any sign that life had ever existed near the sun at all. The outer darkness does not notice us, and yet somehow that thought can also feel strangely peaceful. Because the farther outward you travel mentally through the solar system, the more human urgency begins to fade. Here on Earth, every moment feels immediate. Every problem feels enormous. But beyond the planets, time itself changes character. Pluto needs nearly 250 Earth years to orbit the Sun once. Sedna requires more than 11,000 years. Some Oort Cloud objects may take millions of years to complete a single orbit through the darkness. Entire civilizations become brief flashes against those timescales. A comet drifting silently through the outer cloud may have begun falling inward before the first pyramids were built. Another may still be descending long after modern cities have disappeared. In the deep solar system, motion becomes almost geological in slowness. The cosmos seems half asleep. And perhaps that is why these distant regions feel so haunting to imagine at night. They exist beyond ordinary human rhythm, beyond weather and seasons and generations. They belong to a slower universe. There is also something deeply humbling about realizing how small the planetary region truly is. Every human story in history has unfolded within a microscopic inner fraction of the solar system. Every empire, every war, every work of art, every song, every person who ever loved or feared or dreamed existed inside a thin warm layer surrounding one ordinary star. Above us stretches the cold spherical frontier of the Oort Cloud. Beyond that lies the Milky Way. Beyond the Milky Way wait billions of galaxies. And still the universe continues farther outward. But strangely, the more immense the cosmos becomes, the more extraordinary Earth begins to feel. Because so far as we know, this tiny world inside the flat inner disk may be the only place in the entire solar system where oceans move under open skies. The only place where living creatures look upward and ask what exists above and below them. The solar system itself does not care about direction. Up and down are inventions of gravity and perspective. Yet consciousness creates meaning from orientation. Humans gaze upward instinctively because the sky feels like mystery. And perhaps that instinct was always leading us towards something true. Because above us really is mystery. Invisible frozen worlds drifting in darkness. Comets sleeping for millions of years before awakening in sunlight. Distant objects moving so slowly they barely seem alive. Ghostly remnants from the birth of the solar system itself. Sometimes astronomers speak about the Oort Cloud almost casually, as though it were simply another scientific structure to catalog and classify. But emotionally, the idea is astonishing. Humanity lives inside a hidden sphere extending for light years through space, and we only discovered its existence recently. There may be trillions of ancient icy bodies surrounding us right now, and not one human has ever seen them directly. It is like discovering your small, quiet village sits at the center of an invisible continent stretching far beyond every horizon. And perhaps even now, something else waits farther out. Astronomy has a long history of pushing boundaries away whenever humans believe they have reached the edge. Once Neptune seemed like the final frontier. Then came Pluto. Then the Kuiper Belt. Then the scattered disk. Then Sedna. Then the Oort Cloud. Each answer opened a larger mystery. So tonight, as Earth turns quietly beneath the stars, remember this strange truth. The solar system is not a flat diagram in a textbook. It is a vast layered realm extending above and below us into unimaginable darkness. A drifting sphere of ancient ice surrounding the sun like a memory from the beginning of time. And somewhere out there beyond the last faint comet and beyond the furthest frozen orbit, interstellar space waits silently for the slow, inevitable moment when our sun's influence finally disappears into the endless night between the stars. Long before humans understood galaxies or gravity or the true structure of the solar system, ancient people already sensed something unsettling about the sky above them. Civilizations separated by oceans and thousands of years all looked upward and imagined layers beyond the visible heavens. Some believed the stars were fixed to crystal spheres surrounding Earth. Others imagined celestial oceans stretching beyond sight. Again and again, humanity instinctively pictured the cosmos as something stacked vertically above us. A ladder of worlds rising into darkness. And in a strange way, they were not entirely wrong. Because once modern astronomy peeled away the illusion of a flat solar system, the universe revealed itself as a series of nested structures layered one inside another. The planets orbit inside the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt exists inside the Oort Cloud. The Oort Cloud drifts inside the Milky Way. The Milky Way itself moves within a cluster of galaxies surrounded by something even larger. Every boundary humanity discovers eventually becomes another inner layer. This creates a feeling that many astronomers quietly experience but rarely describe emotionally. The deeper we look into space, the less central we appear. Earth became one planet among many. The solar system became one stellar neighborhood among billions. Even our galaxy turned out to be only one island in a cosmic ocean crowded with others. Yet, despite this shrinking sense of importance, something else grows stronger at the same time. Wonder, because the universe did not have to possess such depth. It could have ended neatly at the planets. The solar system could have been a simple mechanical arrangement of worlds orbiting the sun. Instead, reality revealed hidden belts, scattered disks, spherical clouds, galactic tides, and immense invisible structures extending almost beyond imagination. The cosmos seems to prefer mystery over simplicity. One of the strangest examples of this comes from the way gravity behaves in the outer solar system. Here on Earth, gravity feels predictable. You jump upward and return downward. The moon circles Earth. Earth circles the sun. But at enormous distances, gravity becomes softer and stranger. Objects in the Oort cloud are only barely attached to the sun at all. A passing star drifting several light years away can slowly alter their paths. The combined gravity of the Milky Way can gently twist their orbits over millions of years. This means the solar system is not isolated. It breathes gravitationally with the galaxy around it. Imagine floating deep inside the outer Oort cloud. The sun would appear merely as a bright star among countless others. Nearby stars might exert almost as much influence on your motion as the sun itself. In that distant darkness, the distinction between belonging to one star system or another begins to blur. And this raises an extraordinary possibility. Some long-period comets entering the inner solar system today may have spent billions of years drifting in the outer cloud before their orbits were disturbed by stars that no longer even exist nearby. A supernova explosion thousands of light years away might subtly influence the future path of a frozen object circling at the solar system's edge. Tiny gravitational nudges accumulate slowly across immense spans of time until eventually a comet begins its silent inward fall. By the time it appears in Earth's skies glowing with a bright tail, the original cause of its journey may already be forgotten by the galaxy itself. This interconnectedness is one of the deepest truths hidden above and below the solar system. Nothing exists completely alone. Every structure influences larger structures around it. The planets shape asteroids. The giant planets shape the Oort cloud. The galaxy shapes the cloud in return. And the Milky Way itself is shaped by interactions with neighboring galaxies and invisible dark matter halos extending far beyond visible stars. Even emptiness participates in the story. There is another mystery hidden here that astronomers still debate quietly. The exact shape of the Oort cloud may preserve evidence of events from the sun's earliest childhood. Billions of years ago, our star almost certainly formed inside a dense cluster containing many nearby newborn stars. During that period, close stellar encounters would have been common. Stars may have passed near enough to distort the young solar system dramatically. Some simulations suggest these encounters helped create the Oort cloud itself by trapping distant icy bodies into huge spherical orbits. Others propose that material may have been exchanged between neighboring stars during these close passes. If that is true, then tiny fragments of alien star systems could already exist in the distant darkness surrounding us tonight. A comet falling toward Earth might contain matter that formed around another sun before our own planets even existed. The implications become quietly profound. Humanity often imagines interstellar travel as something futuristic and distant. Yet, at the level of ancient cosmic debris, exchanges between stars may have been happening since the beginning of the galaxy. Not through spacecraft or civilizations, but through drifting ice and wandering rocks crossing the invisible boundaries between stellar systems. And perhaps life itself participates in this exchange. Some scientists have wondered whether microscopic life or prebiotic chemistry could survive inside frozen objects traveling through interstellar space. This idea remains highly speculative, but the possibility lingers in the background of astrobiology. The building blocks of biology may not remain confined to individual planets forever. The galaxy may slowly stir them together across unimaginable timescales. In this sense, the outer solar system becomes more than a distant frozen shell. It becomes part of a larger galactic ecosystem, a region where matter circulates slowly between stars across billions of years. And all of this exists above and below us right now, while most human beings sleep peacefully beneath ordinary skies, unaware of the immense hidden architecture surrounding Earth in silence. The solar system is not merely a collection of planets. It is a drifting memory field shaped by gravity, time, darkness, and the ancient motion of stars. If you could somehow leave Earth tonight and travel upward beyond the planets, beyond the Kuiper Belt, beyond even the furthest frozen objects of the Oort Cloud, you might expect to eventually arrive at a place that feels completely empty. A silent cosmic wilderness where nothing meaningful remains. But strangely, the deeper space becomes, the more connected everything appears. The Milky Way is not simply a backdrop behind the solar system. It actively shapes our destiny. Every star in the galaxy contributes tiny gravitational influences to the larger structure surrounding the Sun. The Oort Cloud is especially vulnerable to these influences because its objects orbit so far away and so slowly. They exist on the edge of belonging. This means the solar system is constantly being sculpted by invisible galactic forces. The process happens so slowly that human beings never notice it directly. But over millions and billions of years, the changes become enormous. Stars pass nearby more often than most people realize. Not dangerously close most of the time, but close enough to matter gravitationally. Astronomers have already identified stars that passed relatively near the Sun in the distant past and others that will approach in the future. One of the most famous examples is Scholz's star, a small dim binary system that passed through the outer Oort cloud roughly 70,000 years ago. At the time, early humans were already painting caves and watching the night sky. While they slept beneath ancient stars, another star system drifted silently through the outer frontier of our own. The encounter likely disturbed countless frozen bodies in the Oort cloud. Some comets may still be slowly falling inward today because of gravitational nudges that began during that passage. Imagine the scale of that delay. A star passes near the solar system while prehistoric humans walk the Earth. Tens of thousands of years later, a comet influenced by that encounter may finally appear in modern telescopes. Cause and effect become stretched across epochs. And this was not a unique event. Stars continuously drift through the galaxy like ships crossing a dark ocean. Over billions of years, the Sun has likely experienced thousands of such encounters. Most are distant and harmless, but occasionally a closer passage may dramatically reshape parts of the Oort Cloud. Entire swarms of icy bodies could be redirected inward toward the planets. Some scientists believe periods of increased comet activity on Earth may have connections to these galactic encounters. The evidence remains debated, but the possibility is fascinating. Mass extinctions, climate disruptions, or major impacts may partly reflect the solar system's movement through the galaxy itself. In that sense, Earth's history may be tied not only to the planets nearby, but also to stars passing light years away. There is another force acting constantly on the outer solar system, the galactic tide. This phrase sounds almost poetic, but it describes something scientifically real. Just as the moon's gravity creates tides on Earth, the overall mass of the Milky Way creates gravitational tides affecting the solar system. The galaxy pulls slightly differently on different regions of the Oort Cloud. Over immense periods of time, this slowly alters the orbits of distant icy objects. The galaxy itself gently stirs the solar system. This idea changes the emotional feeling of space. The solar system no longer seems like an isolated machine operating alone around the sun. It behaves more like a drifting organism responding to currents within a much larger cosmic environment. And those currents may become even stranger when dark matter enters the story. Astronomers believe the visible Milky Way exists inside a gigantic halo of invisible dark matter. This mysterious substance outweighs normal matter and extends far beyond the glowing disk of stars. Nobody knows exactly what dark matter is. It does not emit light. It barely interacts with ordinary atoms except through gravity. Yet without it, galaxies could not hold together properly, which means the solar system is currently moving through an ocean of invisible matter. Right now, every planet, every comet, every human being on Earth exists inside this hidden galactic halo. We cannot see it or touch it directly, but its gravity shapes the Milky Way on enormous scales. Some researchers have even wondered whether denser regions of dark matter encountered during the Sun's galactic orbit could influence comet activity in the Oort Cloud. These ideas remain speculative, but they reveal something important about modern astronomy. The farther outward we explore, the less familiar the universe becomes. The darkness surrounding the solar system is not empty. It is structured, layered, dynamic, alive with invisible forces acting over timescales far beyond ordinary human intuition. And then there is the possibility of rogue planets. These are worlds that wander through interstellar space without orbiting any star at all. Some may have formed independently from collapsing gas clouds. Others were likely ejected violently from young planetary systems during chaotic gravitational encounters. The galaxy may contain billions of them drifting silently through darkness. A rogue planet passing near the outer Oort cloud could disturb comet orbits dramatically. Perhaps such encounters already happened long ago. Perhaps one even helped shape the strange detached orbits astronomers observe today. Imagine a lonely frozen planet larger than Earth gliding invisibly through the distant outskirts of the solar system millions of years ago. No sunlight warming its surface. No star in its sky bright enough to create day. Only endless darkness and motion through interstellar space. And yet its gravity might still echo faintly today in the paths of distant icy objects above and below us. The universe is filled with these hidden influences. Invisible motions producing visible consequences long afterward. Human beings see the comet, but not the ancient stellar encounter that redirected it. We observe the tilted orbit, but not the forgotten gravitational dance that created it. This is why the outer solar system feels almost dreamlike scientifically. It cannot be understood simply as a static map of objects. It behaves more like a memory system recording billions of years of galactic history in the slow movement of frozen bodies through darkness. Every distant orbit tells a story about gravity, about passing stars, about ancient chaos, about the hidden architecture of the galaxy itself. And all of it unfolds quietly above and below the thin bright plane where Earth circles the sun tonight beneath the illusion of an ordinary sky. There is a moment that happens to many people when they first truly understand the scale of the solar system. It is not excitement at first. It is disorientation. The mind struggles to hold the numbers together. Light years, trillions of kilometers, spherical clouds extending nearly halfway to the nearest star. The imagination reaches outward and then quietly fails somewhere in the darkness. And perhaps that failure is important, because human beings evolved to understand forests and rivers and distances measured in footsteps. We were never designed to intuitively grasp structures as vast as the Oort Cloud or the galactic halo. Yet somehow consciousness allows us to reach beyond instinct and picture realities completely detached from everyday experience. Tonight, somewhere above Earth, a comet may already be falling inward from the distant outer cloud. It may have spent millions of years drifting through darkness before a tiny gravitational disturbance altered its path. Perhaps a passing star caused it. Perhaps the galactic tide slowly twisted its orbit over unimaginable time. The comet itself does not know. It simply moves. And eventually, after crossing trillions of kilometers of empty space, sunlight will awaken it. Its frozen surface will begin releasing gas and dust. A glowing coma will form around it. A bright tail will stretch across the sky. Human beings will gather beneath the night and stare upward in wonder. Children will point at it. Telescopes will track it. Photographs will spread across the world. Yet almost nobody watching will fully comprehend how ancient that journey truly was. Comets are among the oldest visible objects humans can ever see directly. Many preserve material almost unchanged since the formation of the solar system over 4.5 billion years ago. They are frozen archives from a time before Earth's oceans existed, before continents formed, before life emerged. In a sense, every long-period comet is a messenger from the beginning. And strangely, these ancient objects often arrive from above or below the planetary plane rather than within it. Their paths remind us that the solar system is not flat. The universe continuously sends visible evidence of its three-dimensional structure into our skies. We simply rarely think about it deeply. There is also another unsettling implication hidden inside the Oort Cloud. If the Sun possesses such an enormous distant sphere of icy objects, then other stars likely do as well. The galaxy may contain trillions upon trillions of invisible comet clouds surrounding other suns. Imagine drifting through interstellar space between the stars. You might unknowingly pass through overlapping outer clouds belonging to different stellar systems. Vast invisible boundaries touching softly in darkness. Ancient frozen objects circling distant suns no human civilization has ever seen. The Milky Way suddenly feels less like isolated stars scattered randomly through emptiness and more like a giant ecosystem of overlapping gravitational territories. And this raises one of the most haunting possibilities in astronomy. Could civilizations exist somewhere inside those distant systems while remaining forever unaware of each other because of scale alone? Even traveling at extraordinary speeds, crossing the gulf between stars would require immense time and energy. The solar system itself already stretches nearly 2 light-years when the Oort Cloud is included. Before humanity even reaches another star, it must first cross the vast invisible frontier surrounding our own. The true emptiness of space becomes emotionally clear only when viewed through these distances. Not cinematic emptiness filled with constant action and glowing spacecraft, but real cosmic emptiness. Cold, silent, enormous beyond instinct. Voyager 1 helps illustrate this beautifully. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 is the most distant human-made object ever created. It already crossed the heliopause where the solar wind fades into interstellar space. Newspapers often describe it as having left the solar system, but gravitationally this is not really true. Voyager still remains deep inside the Sun's broader domain. It would need tens of thousands of years to approach the inner Oort cloud and far longer to leave the outer boundary entirely. Humanity's furthest machine has barely begun the journey outward. This realization quietly reshapes our relationship with space exploration. The solar system no longer feels small and conquerable. It becomes staggeringly immense again. Even the nearest outer frontier remains far beyond current human reach. And yet, despite these enormous distances, the solar system itself remains fragile. The sun will not shine forever. In roughly 5 billion years, our star will exhaust the hydrogen in its core and begin transforming into a red giant. The inner planets may be destroyed or sterilized. Earth's oceans will vanish long before that final stage arrives. Eventually, the sun will shed its outer layers and collapse into a white dwarf surrounded by expanding clouds of gas. What happens to the Oort cloud then? Astronomers believe many distant icy objects will become unbound as the sun loses mass. The weakened gravity of the dying star will no longer hold them securely. Slowly, over millions of years, the great spherical cloud surrounding the solar system may dissolve into interstellar space. The solar system itself will evaporate. Comets and frozen worlds that once orbited the sun for billions of years will drift away forever into the galaxy. The careful architecture shaped since the birth of the planets will gradually unravel. In the far future, only faint traces of our solar system may remain detectable at all. There is something strangely peaceful about that thought. The universe does not preserve structures permanently. Stars form and vanish. Galaxies collide. Planetary systems emerge from dust and eventually return to it. The solar system is not a fixed eternal machine. It is a temporary arrangement inside an evolving cosmos. And perhaps that impermanence is what makes the night sky feel beautiful. Every comet, every planet, every frozen object above and below us exists only for a while within this particular cosmic chapter. We are living during one brief moment in the long life of the sun, when the planets remain stable and conscious creatures can look upward wondering what surrounds them. One day the Oort cloud itself may become nothing more than scattered interstellar debris drifting silently between the stars. But tonight it still surrounds us. a hidden sphere of ancient ice holding the memory of the solar system's birth in the deep darkness beyond the planets. If there is one final illusion the universe quietly destroys during this journey, it is the illusion that humanity stands at the center of anything permanent. At first, the solar system seems enormous compared to Earth. Then the Oort Cloud makes the planetary region appear microscopic. The galaxy reduces the solar system to a drifting speck. Beyond the Milky Way wait billions of galaxies more. And beyond even those structures, the universe continues outward farther than human imagination can travel comfortably. Yet strangely, this expanding scale does not erase meaning, changes it. Because when people first learn how vast space truly is, many experience a kind of cosmic vertigo. They ask questions softly in the dark. If humanity is so small, does anything matter at all? If the solar system itself is only a temporary arrangement of dust and gravity, what significance could one human life possibly have? But perhaps the more astonishing question is the opposite. How extraordinary that conscious beings emerged inside such a universe at all. Think about what had to happen for this moment to exist. Ancient stars lived and died long before the sun formed. Their explosions scattered heavy elements through space. Those elements became part of the giant molecular cloud that collapsed into our solar system. The young sun ignited. The planets formed from a spinning disk of gas and dust. Jupiter scattered icy debris outward to create the distant reservoirs above and below us. Earth cooled slowly. Oceans appeared. Life emerged. Consciousness awakened. And eventually, tiny creatures standing on the surface of a small rocky planet began wondering what existed beyond the familiar sky. The universe produced observers capable of imagining the Oort Cloud even before seeing it directly. There is something almost poetic about that. Human beings may occupy only a microscopic region of the solar system, but we carry within us the ability to mentally cross distances our bodies never could. Tonight, someone listening quietly in a dark room can picture frozen objects drifting a light year away in total silence. The mind reaches outward farther than any spacecraft yet built. And perhaps this is one reason the night sky has always inspired both fear and peace simultaneously. Fear because the cosmos reveals how fragile and temporary human existence truly is. Peace because the same vastness also softens the urgency of ordinary life. Problems that feel overwhelming beneath city lights begin shrinking against the backdrop of galactic time and interstellar distance. The outer solar system especially carries this calming effect. Its rhythms are impossibly slow. Comets sleep for millions of years. Frozen worlds circle the sun so gradually that entire civilizations pass unnoticed during a fraction of their orbit. Nothing hurries in the deep dark beyond Neptune. The universe there feels patient. Maybe that patience is why imagining these distant regions late at night can feel almost meditative. The mind drifts outward away from noise and deadlines and constant human urgency. Beyond the planets, there are no calendars, no borders, no schedules, only gravity and silence and motion unfolding across billions of years. And above all, there is perspective. From the viewpoint of the Oort Cloud, Earth itself would be invisible. Every human story ever told would vanish into a single pale point near the sun. The wars and triumphs and anxieties that dominate history would disappear completely into cosmic scale. Yet paradoxically, That does not make human life meaningless. It makes it rare. So far as we know, consciousness may be extraordinarily uncommon in the universe. The galaxy could contain countless dead worlds circling silently around their stars without anyone ever looking upward from their surfaces asking questions about existence. Earth may be one of the few places where the universe has become aware of itself. And that awareness changes everything. Because now the solar system is no longer merely a physical structure of planets and comets and distant clouds. It also becomes part of an inner landscape within the human imagination. The Oort Cloud exists physically above and below us, but it also exists psychologically as a symbol of the unknown frontier, a reminder that reality is always larger than the maps we begin with. This pattern repeats throughout science endlessly. Humanity creates a simple model of the universe. Then discovery breaks the model open. New layers appear. New mysteries emerge. The edge moves farther away. Perhaps one day future astronomers will discover structures beyond the Oort Cloud that we have not yet imagined. Hidden planets, vast distant debris fields, objects captured from interstellar space in numbers we do not yet suspect. The universe has repeatedly demonstrated that simplicity is usually temporary. And somewhere in the future, long after modern civilization changes into forms impossible for us to predict, human descendants may travel farther into the outer solar system than we ever have. They may witness directly the frozen frontier we currently know mostly through mathematics and faint distant observations. Imagine standing on a dark icy world in the distant cloud looking back toward the sun. The planets would be invisible from that distance. Earth completely lost in glare. The sun itself would shine only as an intensely bright star suspended inside a sea of countless others. Would such travelers still feel connected to humanity's ancient home? Or would they feel suspended between two worlds, no longer belonging fully to Earth, not yet belonging to interstellar space? Perhaps that is what the outer solar system truly represents. The threshold, not merely between planets and stars, but between familiarity and mystery itself. And tonight, while Earth turns quietly beneath ordinary clouds and sleeping cities, that immense invisible threshold still surrounds us in every direction. A vast sphere of ancient darkness filled with drifting ice and forgotten motions. The true shape of the solar system extending far above and far below the tiny flat diagrams humanity once believed were complete. A reminder that the universe is always deeper than it first appears. Far beyond the outer darkness of the Oort Cloud, there comes a region where the sun finally loses its grip completely. The last frozen objects drift away into interstellar space. The gravitational authority of our star fades into the larger currents of the galaxy. And for the first time since leaving Earth, you would no longer truly be inside the solar system at all. You would be between the stars. It is difficult to describe how empty interstellar space really is because nearly every visual image humans create about space accidentally fills it with too much activity. Films show colorful nebulae glowing brightly. Science fiction fills the void with ships and stations and constant movement. But reality is quieter, vastly quieter. The distance between stars is almost pure emptiness. Even inside the Milky Way, where stars seem crowded together in the night sky, the average separation between stellar systems is measured in light years. Trillions upon trillions of kilometers of darkness stretch between suns. And yet somehow, despite these impossible distances, gravity still links everything together in a slow galactic dance. The Sun drifts around the center of the Milky Way once every 230 million years. During a single orbit around the galaxy, entire species appear and vanish on Earth. Continents shift, mountains rise and erode away. The solar system itself changes shape gradually as distant icy bodies are perturbed by passing stars and galactic tides. Everything moves, everything evolves, and still the galaxy continues carrying us silently through space. There is something strangely beautiful about realizing that the solar system is not stationary. Tonight, Earth is moving around the Sun at roughly 30 kilometers per second. The Sun itself moves around the Milky Way at more than 200 kilometers per second. Meanwhile, the Milky Way travels through the local group of galaxies as larger cosmic structures pull on it gravitationally. Human beings feel motionless because gravity binds us gently to Earth's surface. But in reality, we are moving through the universe at extraordinary speeds every second of our lives. And yet, despite all this motion, the night sky appears calm. Perhaps that calmness is part of why space feels so emotionally powerful. The universe hides immense movement beneath apparent stillness. Beneath the quiet stars overhead exists a reality of constant drifting, orbiting, collapsing, scattering, and transformation. Even the stars themselves are temporary. The Sun feels eternal from a human perspective because civilizations last only brief moments compared to stellar lifetimes. But the Sun is already middle-aged. It has existed for roughly 4.5 billion years and has perhaps 5 billion remaining before becoming a red giant. In cosmic terms, our star is quietly aging while carrying its vast invisible cloud of comets around the galaxy. And eventually even the Milky Way will change dramatically. Astronomers know that our galaxy is moving toward another giant spiral galaxy called Andromeda. Right now, Andromeda appears only as a faint blurry patch in dark skies. But it is approaching us at roughly 110 kilometers per second. In about 4 to 5 billion years, around the same era when the Sun begins dying, the Milky Way and Andromeda will collide. Not like cars crashing violently, but like two enormous ghostly systems passing through one another over millions of years. Stars will rarely collide directly because the distances between them are so huge. But gravity will reshape both galaxies completely. Spiral arms will distort. Stellar orbits will change. Giant clouds of gas may ignite bursts of new star formation. The night sky from any surviving worlds would become unimaginably spectacular. And through all of this, the distant remnants of the solar system may still exist. The Oort Cloud could be heavily disturbed during the galactic merger. Vast numbers of comets might be scattered away forever. Some could be captured by other stars. Others may fall inward toward the dying Sun. The careful gravitational balance maintained for billions of years would begin unraveling under new galactic conditions. This reminds us of something important. Nothing in the cosmos remains fixed forever. Not planets, not stars, not galaxies. Stability in the universe is always temporary. Structures survive for long periods and then eventually transform into something new. Even entire galaxies are transient. And perhaps this is why the question of what exists above and below the solar system feels so emotionally compelling. At first, it sounds like a simple geometric question about direction. But the deeper we follow it, the more it becomes a meditation on scale, impermanence, and existence itself. Above us lies the hidden architecture of the solar system. Beyond that lies the galaxy. Beyond the galaxy lies the larger universe. Every layer reveals another surrounding layer extending farther outward. Human understanding expands exactly the same way. A child begins by learning Earth, then the planets, then stars and galaxies. Each discovery surrounds the previous one with something larger. Reality keeps unfolding outward without obvious limit. And perhaps there is comfort in that endlessness, because the universe does not feel closed or finished. Mystery still exists everywhere. Dark matter remains unexplained. The true nature of interstellar space remains only partially understood. We still do not know whether life exists elsewhere in the galaxy. We still cannot directly observe the Oort Cloud despite believing strongly in its existence. The cosmos remains incomplete inside the human mind, and that incompleteness invites wonder. Somewhere tonight beyond the furthest planets, frozen bodies continue drifting through darkness untouched by sunlight for millions of years. Somewhere farther outward, rogue planets wander between the stars alone. Somewhere beyond the Milky Way, other galaxies contain other stars with their own hidden clouds extending silently into interstellar space. The universe is filled with invisible structures surrounding visible ones, and humanity exists within all of it for one brief, extraordinary moment of awareness. Perhaps the most mysterious thing about the universe is not simply its size, but the silence hidden inside that size. When people imagine the cosmos, they often picture constant activity, explosions, strange civilizations, endless movement between stars. But the deeper astronomers study space, the more they encounter something quieter. Vast regions where almost nothing happens for millions of years. Frozen objects drifting alone in darkness. Empty distances so enormous that light itself needs centuries or millennia to cross them. The outer solar system belongs to that silence. Beyond Neptune, sunlight weakens dramatically. Temperatures plunge toward absolute zero. Motion slows into rhythms too large for human intuition. A comet in the distant cloud may travel for millions of years without approaching another object closely. Entire regions of the Oort Cloud could remain unchanged longer than multicellular life has existed on Earth. There is something deeply calming about imagining such ancient stillness. Human civilization often feels loud and immediate because our lives unfold so quickly. News changes hourly. Cities never truly sleep. Entire generations appear and disappear in moments compared to cosmic time. But in the outer darkness above and below the solar system, urgency almost ceases to exist. Gravity becomes patient there. Everything moves slowly because distances are so vast. The sun's pull weakens into a gentle whisper. Frozen worlds drift through enormous orbits that can take longer than human history itself. If an observer somehow stood upon a distant Oort Cloud object, the sun would no longer dominate the sky. It would resemble a brilliant star surrounded by countless others. Day and night would lose their familiar meaning. And perhaps most haunting of all, the planets would vanish completely from sight. Earth would disappear into invisibility. This is difficult for the human mind to accept emotionally because Earth feels central to our lives. Every memory we possess happened here. Every person we know exists on this tiny world. Yet from most of the solar system, Earth cannot even be seen. The farther outward you travel, the smaller humanity becomes. And still, consciousness allows us to mentally cross those impossible distances. We remain physically tiny while intellectually enormous. A person lying awake at night can imagine the Oort Cloud despite never seeing it directly. We can picture galactic motion, stellar evolution, and interstellar darkness using mathematics and thought alone. In some strange way, the universe becomes conscious of itself through minds capable of understanding scale. That idea has fascinated philosophers and scientists for generations. The atoms inside the human brain were forged inside ancient stars long before the sun formed. Those atoms eventually became living organisms able to observe the cosmos that created them. The universe developed a method for reflecting upon itself. And perhaps that is why space feels emotionally intimate despite its enormity. When people stare upward into the night sky, they often describe a feeling that is difficult to explain clearly, mixed with loneliness, fear mixed with peace, a sensation of standing before something ancient and infinitely larger than human life. The outer solar system intensifies this feeling because it exists right at the border between familiarity and true cosmic isolation. The planets still feel connected to us emotionally. We have maps of Mars, images of Jupiter, photographs from Saturn's rings. But beyond Neptune, the solar system begins fading into abstraction. Most people could not point towards Sedna in the sky. Almost nobody can emotionally visualize the true scale of the Oort Cloud. These regions exist more as ideas than places within ordinary human experience. Yet they are real. Right now, above and below Earth, trillions of icy objects may drift silently in darkness. Some preserve material unchanged since before the planets fully formed. Some may eventually become comets visible in future skies long after modern civilization changes beyond recognition. The cosmos operates on timescales completely detached from human expectation. This becomes especially clear when considering the future of the night sky itself. The stars visible tonight will not remain arranged forever. Constellations slowly change shape because stars move independently through the galaxy. Over tens of thousands of years, familiar patterns distort. Orion transforms. The Big Dipper stretches apart. Entire regions of the sky gradually rearrange themselves. Even the heavens are temporary. And farther into the future, the galaxy itself evolves. New stars form while others die. Black holes merge. Stellar clusters disperse. The Milky Way changes shape continuously across cosmic time. Yet despite all this transformation, certain truths remain remarkably stable. Gravity continues sculpting structure from chaos. Matter continues orbiting matter. Darkness continues surrounding islands of light. And conscious beings continue looking upward, asking questions. Perhaps that final pattern matters most, because the universe does not owe humanity understanding. There was no guarantee intelligent life would ever emerge capable of discovering the Oort Cloud or calculating galactic motion. Yet somehow awareness appeared on one small planet orbiting an ordinary star. And tonight that awareness allows us to imagine what exists far above and far below the solar system. Not empty space, not simple darkness, but a layered cosmic architecture stretching outward through hidden belts, scattered worlds, invisible clouds, galactic tides, drifting stars, dark matter halos, and immense interstellar distances beyond ordinary comprehension. The old flat diagrams of the solar system were never truly wrong. They were simply incomplete, like a shadow cast by something far larger and more beautiful than the shadow itself. Reality possesses depth. The solar system possesses depth. And perhaps the human soul responds so strongly to astronomy because deep down we sense that existence itself contains far more layers than everyday life reveals at first glance. Above us tonight waits an invisible sphere of ancient ice surrounding the sun in silence. Beyond that waits the galaxy. Beyond the galaxy waits darkness filled with other galaxies. And beyond even those distant lights, the universe continues outward still. There is one final perspective that changes everything about the question of what exists above and below the solar system. Imagine for a moment that you are no longer human, not standing on Earth, not orbiting the sun, not emotionally attached to planets or stars at all. Imagine instead that you are an observer drifting somewhere far outside the Milky Way itself, perhaps millions of light years away in intergalactic darkness. From that unimaginable distance, our entire galaxy would appear only as a faint spiral of light suspended among countless others. The solar system would vanish completely. Earth would not merely become invisible. It would become conceptually insignificant against the scale of the larger structure. Even the sun itself would disappear into the glow of one ordinary galaxy among billions. And yet, inside that invisible point, conscious beings exist wondering about the universe. There is something profoundly beautiful hidden inside that contrast. Because scale alone does not determine meaning. A galaxy may contain hundreds of billions of stars, but stars do not wonder what lies beyond them. Comets do not feel awe. The Oort Cloud does not contemplate its own existence. Human consciousness introduces something unusual into the cosmos. Reflection, curiosity, imagination. In a strange sense, the universe becomes emotionally richer once observers appear inside it. This is part of why astronomy affects people so deeply. The science itself is factual and mathematical, but the emotional consequences are philosophical. Every discovery changes humanity's sense of place. The realization that the solar system is spherical rather than flat seems technical at first, but emotionally it transforms how we picture existence itself. The universe stops feeling organized around human perspective. Instead, humanity becomes one tiny awareness drifting inside structures vastly older and larger than civilization. And perhaps nowhere is this feeling stronger than when considering the true darkness above and below the solar system. Most people never experience real darkness anymore. Cities fill the night with artificial light. Even remote places still contain satellites crossing overhead and distant aircraft moving through the sky. But the outer solar system possesses a kind of darkness almost impossible for the human mind to visualize properly. Not merely absence of light, absence of proximity, no nearby worlds, no warm atmospheres, no familiar landscapes, only frozen objects separated by immense distances under silent stars. A region where sunlight weakens until the sun itself begins resembling every other star in the sky. The deeper astronomers study these distant realms, the stranger they appear psychologically. The outer cloud surrounding the solar system feels less like a place and more like a boundary state between belonging and isolation, between home and interstellar emptiness. And still, even there, gravity maintains connection. This may be one of the quietest but most profound truths in astronomy. Gravity never truly stops. Its influence stretches endlessly across space, weakening with distance but never vanishing completely. Every object in the universe pulls gently on every other object. Stars influence comet clouds. Galaxies distort each other. Even dark matter shapes cosmic structure through gravity alone. The universe is woven together invisibly. The solar system survives because of that invisible connection. Earth remains near the sun because gravity binds it there. The Oort Cloud remains loosely attached because the sun's influence extends astonishingly far into darkness. And the Milky Way itself holds together because gravity dominates the motion of stars across enormous scales. Without gravity, the cosmos would dissolve into drifting particles without structure or memory. Perhaps this is why ancient humans instinctively imagined the heavens as connected layers rather than random chaos. Even before science, people sensed order in the sky, rhythms, patterns, cycles. Modern astronomy revealed that the order extends far beyond visible stars into hidden regions no civilization could observe directly until recently. The universe possesses architecture, and architecture implies relationship. The planets relate to the sun. The Oort Cloud relates to the galaxy. The galaxy relates to surrounding galaxies. Even intergalactic space contains faint, invisible filaments connecting giant cosmic structures across unimaginable distances. Modern cosmology suggests the universe itself resembles a vast web with galaxies arranged along gravitational threads surrounding enormous voids. Reality becomes more interconnected the larger the scale becomes. This realization changes the emotional feeling of isolation. Human beings often feel alone because of physical separation. But cosmically, nothing exists completely disconnected. Every atom on Earth originated inside ancient stars. Every human body participates physically in the larger story of the universe, whether we notice it or not. Tonight, while people sleep beneath ordinary roofs and quiet city lights, Earth continues drifting through the solar system. The solar system continues moving through the Milky Way. The Milky Way continues traveling through larger cosmic structures. And all of it unfolds inside a universe whose true scale may exceed human comprehension permanently. Yet, despite that immensity, consciousness still reaches outward asking questions. That may be the most extraordinary fact of all. A species living on one tiny rocky planet developed the ability to discover invisible comet clouds surrounding its star, to calculate galactic motion, to imagine the future death of the sun billions of years from now, to understand that above and below are not absolute directions, but temporary perspectives inside a much larger reality. The universe produced creatures capable of understanding that the old flat diagrams of the solar system were incomplete. And perhaps someday future discoveries will reveal that our current understanding is incomplete too. That possibility remains wonderfully alive. Because every time humanity believes it has reached the edge of knowledge, another layer appears beyond it. Another hidden structure, another larger context surrounding the previous one. The cosmos keeps opening outward, and somewhere beyond the distant frozen frontier above and below the solar system tonight, the endless dark between the stars continues waiting silently for whatever questions humanity learns to ask next. And so, after traveling mentally beyond the planets, beyond the scattered icy worlds, beyond the immense hidden sphere of the Oort Cloud, and beyond even the drifting architecture of the Milky Way itself, we arrive at a quiet realization. The universe was never flat, not physically, not emotionally, not philosophically. Every layer humanity uncovers reveals another hidden depth waiting behind it. The solar system appeared simple until astronomers discovered the worlds beyond Neptune. The outer darkness seemed empty until the idea of the Oort Cloud emerged. The galaxy once seemed permanent until we learned galaxies collide and evolve. Even the universe itself may possess structures larger than anything we currently understand. Reality continues unfolding outward forever. And perhaps that endless unfolding is what makes the cosmos feel both humbling and strangely comforting at the same time. Because there is peace in knowing the universe does not revolve around human urgency. The stars are not waiting for us. The comets do not hurry. The distant frozen bodies above and below the solar system drift through darkness with extraordinary patience. Millions of years pass almost unnoticed in the outer regions surrounding the sun tonight. Somewhere in that invisible frontier, ancient objects continue their silent orbits exactly as they did long before humanity existed. Some began circling the sun before Earth had oceans. Others may still remain there long after modern civilization disappears into history. The deep solar system carries a calmness born from immense time. And maybe that calmness is why space feels so powerful late at night. During the day, human life feels crowded with noise and immediacy. But under the night sky, perspective returns quietly. The mind lifts beyond ordinary concerns toward larger rhythms. The stars remind us that existence extends far beyond the boundaries of daily life. Even the idea of above and below begins dissolving in that darkness. At the beginning of this journey, the question seems simple. What exists above and below the solar system? But now we understand that the question itself contains a hidden assumption. It assumes the universe possesses a fixed orientation centered around human experience. Yet in reality, there is no ultimate up, no final down, only reference frames drifting within larger reference frames endlessly. Earth defines one perspective, the ecliptic defines another, the galaxy defines another larger one still. Every structure exists inside something greater surrounding it on all sides. The cosmos has no ceiling overhead, no floor beneath it, only depth without obvious end. And still, despite this overwhelming scale, human beings continue searching for meaning among the stars. We continue building telescopes, launching spacecraft, writing equations, imagining distant worlds hidden in darkness beyond the limits of direct observation. There is something deeply hopeful about that persistence, because curiosity itself may be one of the rarest things in the universe. Matter drifting through space is common. Stars are common. Galaxies are common. But conscious beings who ask questions about existence may be extraordinarily uncommon. Tonight, humanity remains a young species standing near the beginning of its cosmic understanding. We have only recently realized the true shape of the solar system. We still cannot directly observe the Oort Cloud. We still debate the existence of hidden planets in the outer darkness. We still do not know whether life exists elsewhere among the stars. The universe remains filled with unanswered questions. And perhaps that is exactly how it should be. Mystery gives the cosmos emotional depth. Without mystery, the night sky would become only information. But the unknown preserves wonder. It allows human imagination to travel farther than certainty ever could. Somewhere above the planetary plane tonight, frozen worlds drift invisibly through ancient darkness. Somewhere below it, distant comets continue circling the sun on paths lasting millions of years. Somewhere beyond the solar system, rogue planets wander alone between the stars. Somewhere beyond the Milky Way, other galaxies contain other unseen structures surrounding other suns. The universe is filled with hidden layers, and Earth exists quietly inside one small corner of it all. Perhaps the most beautiful part of this realization is that it changes nothing about the ordinary sky overhead. The stars still appear calm from Earth. Constellations still rise and set. The moon still glows softly above sleeping cities and silent oceans. Yet behind that familiar beauty exists an immense invisible architecture stretching outward in every direction beyond ordinary comprehension. The night sky becomes deeper once you know what is truly there. Not emptiness, not a flat arrangement of planets, but a vast three-dimensional realm of drifting ice, scattered worlds, invisible gravity, galactic motion, and endless darkness surrounding the sun like a cosmic memory preserved from the birth of time itself. And maybe tonight, as you slowly drift towards sleep beneath the quiet turning of Earth, you can hold one final image gently in your mind. Far beyond Pluto, far beyond the faint frozen frontier of the known planets, beyond the last visible comet and the dimmest scattered objects. A hidden sphere surrounds our star in silence. Trillions of ancient icy bodies drifting patiently through darkness almost untouched since the beginning of the solar system. Above us, below us, around us on every side. A reminder that the universe is always larger, deeper, and stranger than the simple maps humanity first draws of it. And somewhere out there tonight, in the endless cold between the stars, the cosmos continues unfolding quietly forever.